everyone, it's NaomiShops, and I'm here with another review for you. Today I will be reviewing the Buxom Stone Cold Babe. Buxom Stone Cold Babe. Can I spit that all out? This is a palette collection, and it includes the palette and a mascara. And I'm going to go ahead and open this for you. The retail price on this is $42 currently. And you get the case here, which I'm guessing at some point they must be or maybe this is kind of a test run, that they may be offering these little palette cubes independently where you can maybe change them out at a later date. They may even have them already. I just didn't see it on the site when I purchased this. So this is what the palette looks like before you put anything in it. So you get a mirror, and then you have the empty case, and then it includes this really worthless brush here. Now, what I will first say about this is do not order this online unless you want to risk the palette being broken all over the place, because when I received it, even though it looks pretty when you see it right now, these independent things were scattered all about the box. So I had to go in, and then it was dirty, and I had to wipe it down just for this video, and it wasn't pretty. So they each pop out like this, and you can see they don't really snap in, they just kind of place in. So it's a bit the strategy behind that is great, but it's not really, while shipping they didn't really think that through. So what happens is you take this, and there wasn't really any instructions. So the first time I did it wrong, and it was really hard to get it to come out of it. But if you look on the back, there's like a little nod, like a little indentation here where you can slide it into the palette. And then you're going to go ahead and just slide it in there. Once you do it correctly, it does slide in pretty easily, so that's your first sign if you're doing it right or wrong. So once you do that, then you've got your palette in all of your colors, and I'll show that up close for you. And excuse my terrible hands, this is what I mean. My husband thinks I'm the man of the house. I'm always, you know, we do a thing here in our town twice a year where you can actually put your trash out on the curb and they'll take it away, and you can put anything and everything. So I was cutting down our palm trees, and yeah, I've got some more wounds here. So my hands are all cut up, and I apologize in advance. So this is the palette here. Now, first of all, this palette is $42. So it's a bit pricey to me for Buxom products, which Buxom is owned by Bare Minerals, in case you weren't aware of that. They are owned by the same people, so I'm guessing the formula is probably pretty close to Bare Minerals. My biggest issue was when I was using a thinner brush, more of a less dense brush, it was hard to get the product to pick up on the brush. I did have to use a more dense brush, like this eye shading brush by Sigma, and this was the E55. This is the one I swatched with, and I'll show you that in a second. But it was really hard to get the product to kind of pick up and go on the eyes. Now, you know I am not a shimmer metallics fan, and this is what this entire palette is. Even the more matte, well, actually you only get 3 true mattes in here, and the rest are all shimmer. So if you're not a shimmer fan, you're definitely not going to like this palette. I'm going to try to speak for as many people as possible, although I won't know 100% since I don't fit into those categories. If you do like shimmers and you do like metallics, I think they are pretty, but they are definitely hard to get them to pick up on the palette unless you have a very dense brush. I'm going to go ahead and put the swatches in right now, so that way we can discuss. And we'll go ahead and put it right now. And as you can see, they don't swatch bad, but again, I used the more dense brush. So that was using that and the Too Faced eyeshadow insurance on the arm, and then I went ahead and swatched it. I will admit that it swatched a lot better than it did on the eyes, because when you put it on the eyes, it seemed like it didn't really want to pick up on the brush, and it didn't really want to apply to the brush. And I don't use this type of brush when I'm doing all of my makeup. I may do it on the, you know, on the bottom of my eye, but I don't typically use a dense brush like this when I'm applying makeup up towards the top. And honestly, I felt like this is what you would need to use to do your entire makeup look if you grab this palette. They are some very pretty neutral colors if you're looking for that. I did find it was just a little too shimmery for my liking. I don't like shimmers. I'm never going to like shimmers. And I couldn't really tell when I was looking online what exactly I was getting. There wasn't a true clear description in my opinion. Although it did say some, I think, satin, and I think it did list like maybe 2 shimmers. So I wasn't really clear on what I was going to be getting. But you know, when I'm doing reviews, it's kind of a toss-up on what I'm going to get. So I did wear it today, what I wore, and oh, there is names on the back here. So we'll try to do this. Okay, so the first one that I used was Diamond Darling, which is this color here. And I went ahead and used that up just on the brow bone here. And then I tried to use the Velvet Snow, which was the other white one, and it didn't pick up at all. So I couldn't really get that one to really show up on my skin. Then I also used the, I don't have them in this correct one, so excuse me for a moment, Sequin Sparkle. I used this one on the lower part of my eyes, which it actually isn't bad for a shimmer. It didn't look bad, at least, but it definitely took several coats to get it to kind of really show and pop on my eyes. So that's the only thing I didn't really care for. Again, if you're using a denser brush, as you can see in the swatches, it seems to make a big difference. So, you know, keep that in mind if you are so choosing to pick up this palette. I also used this kind of matte color here, which is called, I believe, they are calling it Jet Setter, which is kind of this like grayish color here. And then I used Mink Magnet, which is this color here. And then I used a little bit of the LBD, which is this like darker black color here. The blacks, like most eyeshadows, were very chalky, terrible. Wouldn't recommend those. So this basically takes out this one here. So you're left with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 colors basically that are worth anything, and even then one of those I couldn't really get to work. So now you're at 9. For $42, there's no excuse for it not to be way better than it was, because it's you're paying for this beautiful packaging, and I will admit it's a gorgeous little packaging. It's, you know, got like this diamond look to it, and it's very pretty, and I commend Buxom for kind of stepping out of their zone and getting a little bit more fancier with their packaging. But this particular set that they've included in this is not up to par even by their standards, and I've gotten a few palettes by them, and I just don't find that this one really is that great. It looks okay. It's not like I'm angry about it, but more than likely it's going to probably sit in my drawer just because it's not that user-friendly. You have to use it pretty heavy-handed if you're going to use it, and I just don't want to work that hard for any product that I'm going to put on my eyes. I want to get in and out as fast as possible so I can get on with my day. I don't want to spend, you know, 20 minutes on my eyes just trying to get them, you know, so perfect. And you know, it took me a while to just get this simple little look on my eye, and I don't want to spend that much time when I'm doing something. What I would rate it out of 5, 1 out of 5, probably, gosh, I've been ripping apart so many of these companies, but I'd probably give it a 2, personally. Now, if you like shimmers and you're a big fan of shimmers and you don't use any real matte colors and you're like a full eye of shimmer, then you may really like this. And that's what you have to take into account for yourself is, you know, what do you like out of a palette? I personally don't really care for shimmers. I don't personally care for metallics. And so that's where I lose interest in this completely. So, like I said, 2 out of 5. You do get the mascara, which I didn't show you, which is, I actually like their waterproof version of this. And I do like the wand because it does do a great job of kind of separating out the lashes so they're not like really clumpy. So I do really like their mascara. So if you're ever interested in trying a mascara, I do recommend theirs. I haven't used the non-waterproof, so I can't speak on that one, but I know I really like the waterproof. And it actually comes off fairly easily with makeup wipe removers. You don't have to work too hard for getting it off, but it stays pretty well on the eyes. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. Again, I'm sorry there's not been a lot of great things out there right now, which is a little disappointing. I'm thinking about trying out the Estee Edit. There's a palette that they have which has like a highlighting type one / eyeshadow, and then they're like kind of matte, and it's a dual one that connects together through magnet. Have you guys seen that one? So I'm thinking about getting that one. Anyway, oh, and one more shout out of something I did love, which was in their samples. I don't know if it's still there. This is by the Givenchy, and this was I don't know. It's the vinyl lipstick, and it says 6T01. I don't know exactly which one it is, but I'm wearing it, and it's pretty interesting because it's when you see it, you're like, yeah, what? But when you swatch it, you can just kind of see there's not much color to it, but then it like warms and changes to your skin, which I really like that, and I think it's really pretty. It's really creamy, so I'm pretty sure it's the same one as that Rose 05 that I told you guys in my favorites that I really liked. I think it's the same one. But I really like how it feels on the lips because it has that lip balm feel. But also, I don't know, I like this color. What do we think? I'm even more excited because it was one of those 100-point perks, so it was free. Yeah! Alright guys, until next time, bye.